Welcome to Shadow Case. Today, we examine a case that has captivated the nation, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. On February 1, 2026, an 84-year-old grandmother was reported missing from her home in the Catalina foothills of Tucson, Arizona. Her name was Nancy Guthrie. And her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, co-host of NBC's Today Show. Within hours, what might have been a local missing persons case became a national obsession. The daughter of one of America's most beloved TV personalities pleading for help finding her mother. But as the days turned into weeks, the case only grew more mysterious. A stolen doorbell camera. A masked intruder. Ransom notes. And a family desperate for answers. This is the story of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Nancy Guthrie was born on January 27, 1942. She was a mother of three, daughters Savannah and Annie, and a son. She was also a grandmother who adored her family. Just 5 weeks before her disappearance, Nancy posted a Christmas photo on Facebook. She's surrounded by her daughters, her son-in-law, and her grandchildren, all wearing matching plaid pajamas. The caption reads, "Merry Christmas, sweet ones." It would be the last photo she ever shared. Nancy lived alone in the Catalina foothills, an upscale neighborhood just north of Tucson. Her home sat on a quiet desert cul-de-sac, set back from the road behind dense vegetation. She had difficulty walking, relied on a pacemaker for her heart, and took daily medication. She was described by authorities as a vulnerable adult. On November 2025, just months before she disappeared, Savannah Guthrie visited her mother in Arizona for an episode of the Today Show. The three women, Savannah, Annie, and Nancy, went to their favorite Mexican restaurant. They laughed. They talked. It was a picture of a close, loving family. No one knew it would be one of Nancy's last public appearances. January 31, 2026. A Saturday evening. Nancy had spent the night at the home of her oldest daughter, Annie, and her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni. They had dinner. They played games. It was a normal family night. Around 9 p.m., Tommaso drove Nancy home to her house on Via del Palo Verde in the Catalina foothills. He watched her walk inside and lock the door. That was the last time anyone saw Nancy Guthrie. The next morning, Sunday, February 1st, Nancy did not show up for church. This was extremely unusual. A concerned family member called 911. When authorities arrived, Nancy was gone. Her Range Rover was still in the garage. Her purse, her phone, her medication, all left behind. But there was something else. On the front porch, investigators found blood. It was Nancy's. The Pima County Sheriff's Department immediately classified the case as a suspected kidnapping. Sheriff Chris Nanos described the circumstances as causing grave concern. Nancy Guthrie had been taken from her home against her will. Within days, the FBI was called in. The Phoenix field office joined the Pima County Sheriff's Department in what would become one of the most high-profile missing persons investigations in recent memory. Hundreds of agents and detectives were assigned. They fanned out across the neighborhood, knocking on doors. They searched the rugged desert terrain surrounding the home. They collected DNA samples from the property, and found biological material that did not belong to Nancy or anyone in close contact with her. But there was a major problem. The doorbell camera at Nancy's front door, a Nest camera, was missing. Someone had taken it. Sheriff Nanos initially told the public there was no surveillance footage. Nancy did not have an active subscription to Nest's cloud recording service. The physical camera was gone. It seemed like a dead end. But the FBI had a different idea. They worked directly with Google, the parent company of Nest, to try to recover residual data from their back-end systems. And after days of painstaking digital forensics, they found something. On February 10, FBI Director Kash Patel released 2 videos that had been recovered from the Nest camera's residual data. The first video, 27 seconds long, shows a masked figure approaching Nancy's front door in the early morning hours. The person is wearing a dark hoodie, gloves, and a ski mask. They raise a gloved hand and appear to tamper with the camera. The second video, 14 seconds long, shows the same figure from a different angle. They face the camera, holding a flashlight in their mouth. Then they reach up and cover the lens with what appears to be prairie brush. The person is armed. You can clearly see the outline of a handgun holster on their hip. These images were captured the morning of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. The suspect had disabled the camera before entering the home. But here's the chilling part, the videos only show the person approaching and covering the camera. They do not show Nancy being taken. They do not show what happened inside the house. And most importantly, they do not tell us if Nancy Guthrie is still alive. On February 13, the FBI released an updated description of the suspect. He is described as a male, approximately 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches tall, with an average build. He was wearing a black, 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack backpack, a private label brand sold exclusively at Walmart. The FBI released photos of the backpack from multiple angles, hoping someone would recognize it. FBI Director Kash Patel personally visited the command post in Arizona. In total, more than 13,000 tips flooded in. But despite the massive public response, no suspect has been identified. The person in the video is considered a suspect. But as of June 2026, nearly 5 months later, no arrest has been made. The suspect remains at large. In the first week after Nancy's disappearance, 2 ransom notes were sent to local news outlets in Tucson. The first note demanded millions of dollars in cryptocurrency for Nancy's safe return. But the deadline passed without any payment, and without any word from the kidnappers. Then a second note arrived. This one claimed that Nancy Guthrie was dead. The contents of both notes were kept secret for months. Law enforcement and the family asked the media not to report on the details. They wanted to preserve information that only the real kidnappers would know, a critical tool for interrogating suspects if they were ever caught. After the second note, investigators tried to verify whether Nancy had actually died. They were unable to confirm it. Adding to the confusion, a 42-year-old California man named Derek Colella was charged with sending a hoax ransom message to Nancy's oldest daughter Annie and son-in-law. This wasn't related to the actual kidnappers, it was someone trying to exploit a family's worst nightmare. The Guthrie family has acknowledged the existence of the ransom notes and has said they are willing to pay for Nancy's safe return. The search for Nancy Guthrie has been massive in scale. FBI agents combed the rugged desert terrain around Tucson. They set up roadblocks. They towed vehicles for forensic analysis, including a Range Rover from a Culver's parking lot 2 miles from her home. Gloves found near the home became a key piece of evidence. The FBI announced that a glove found about 2 miles from Nancy's house appeared to match the gloves worn by the suspect in the doorbell footage. DNA testing was conducted. But the investigation has not been without controversy. Reports emerged that Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos was blocking the FBI from key evidence. The FBI wanted physical evidence, including a glove and DNA from Nancy's home, processed at their National Crime Laboratory in Quantico, Virginia. Instead, the sheriff insisted on using a private lab in Florida. The reasons for this remain unclear. Meanwhile, neighbors in the Catalina foothills covered the area in yellow ribbons. They placed flowers and signs reading, "Bring Nancy home." The community has rallied around the Guthrie family. Savannah Guthrie has made multiple emotional pleas on the Today Show. "We need your help," she said. "Please do the right thing." As of June 2026, Nancy Guthrie has not been found. No body has been recovered. No arrests have been made. The suspect from the doorbell video remains unidentified. The second ransom note claimed she was dead. But law enforcement has not been able to verify that claim. They cannot confirm whether Nancy is alive or deceased. What we know, Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home on the night of January 31, 2026. A masked, armed suspect disabled her doorbell camera. Her blood was found on the front porch. 2 ransom notes were sent, one demanding payment, one claiming she died. Over 13,000 tips have been investigated. The FBI is offering a $100,000 reward. The family has offered $1 million. But the single most important question remains unanswered: where is Nancy Guthrie? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to Shadow Case. And let us know in the comments, what case should we investigate next? We have listed 5 options on screen. Drop your vote below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next case.